Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a short video. This is going to be a test on a 2000 instrument cluster, 2000 Toyota Tundra, a 3.4 liters V6 instrument cluster. Customer concern is fuel gauge not working properly. This is coming actually from a shop here in Virginia, ABS Unlimited. This is your cluster. All right, so as I normally do, I have prepared the information. I have the cluster connected already, and I'm doing the test, and it's actually testing as good. So let me just walk you through what I'm doing. Right now, as you see, the gauge is reading exactly full, and I'm providing power and ground, and then the signal through a decade box. And I have explained this in multiple videos. I mean, there is actually really minimum tooling that you need to do a test like this, even in the vehicle, right? By the way, you can see the mileage, 196.47. So that's actually low mileage for a 2000 vehicle, right? So it's got to be in a very good shape. But so I'm providing 3 ohms of resistance, and I have one wire that goes over to the gauge on the back, which I'm going to show you the connections in a second. And then the other side of this decade, which is just a resistance. This decade box is very good because it has a resistance, capacitance, and it can combine them. So I can use it for more intricate tests, but it's really good. And like I said, I have in here in my bench the powers and grounds, which I'm using coming from my simulator behind me. All right, but let's go over the connections and wire diagrams, which I have, like I said, always ready for that or ready for you. Let me just show you. This is the cluster, so you can see all the information from them. And as you see here, it says, well, all changed because that's what a vehicle is in there in the shop. And also says fuel gauge not working. All right, so that's pretty simple in there. This is the back of this cluster. This is a very old style cluster. I have, again, all the connections and wire diagrams and everything, but nicely done by Toyota. You have even in the back, it shows you ignition. Hovering is, I know it's white on white, but hopefully you can see the hand hovering on the cluster. So the 3 Phillips screw head bolts that you see, or screws, sorry. One is marked as ignition, the other one is with the F, and the other one is a ground. So ground, ignition, and then the fuel signal. Pretty simple, right? So pretty self-explanatory. And then the other side, in the center, we have the speedometer. And on the other side, we have the temperature gauge. This has also some other readings, like you will see, was actually light in there on the prindle and so on. Okay, as far as connections, I have everything, like I said, ready, and I put the resistance coming from the fuel gauge. Let me make this go up a little higher. Perfect. So on the right side, that image that you see, that's the fuel gauge readings on the tank. You can do it, the test right at the meter, because even though it's at the tank, it has to read the it has to reach the instrument cluster, right? So it says that in full, we should have 3 ohms of resistance, half a tank, 32.5, 33 ohms, and then empty approximately 110 ohms. And I'm going to provide that when we do the test. So right now I have the 3 ohms and it's reading perfectly full. So is that correct? Yes, it is 100% correct. And this is all coming from Toyota. So as far as the connections, again, just always, I always check everything, right? We can see here on the cluster right now on the wire diagram, we have one wire for, let me make this a little smaller. This is just a lamp. It has a fuel empty lamp, and then it has the fuel gauge. So this is a variable resistor. So what happens in here is, as the load, full, low, or sorry, medium, or empty, the resistance will vary, and those are the resistance values that I just showed you there. So pin 6 in connector C is that fuel level signal, and I checked and it's not broken. I checked it behind the connector on the cluster. All those reach perfectly. They're not broken. Then 12A, if we follow down in here, that's a ground, right? So that is provided properly. And then if I follow the other line, which is going up top, that is a constant power or ignition power. But if I follow over to the next picture or part of the diagram, and we follow the line in here. It connects it to the seat belt, a lamp, providing the power on one side, and then it goes over to 7A, connector A, pin 7, and we can see that that comes from a power source. It's not telling me in here if it's an ignition or a constant battery, but I really don't care. I know that it's a power because it's through a fuse, and that's all I really need for do my testing, right? As far as the connectors, this is the way this cluster looks from behind, and we can see here again each of those connectors without tachometer and with tachometer are pretty much the same. I don't see any difference as far as the pins, numbers, or the connector, so it's pretty much the same for both of us, for both tachometers, sorry. This is facing backwards, but nicely done again from Toyota. The pins are marked in each of the connectors. They don't tell you, or they didn't mark in there like A, B, C, or D, but they at least put pin 1 to 13, pin 1 through 16, pin 1 through 13, and pin 1 through 10. So that is pretty easy for me to check, because I want to make sure that nothing is broken, because it's kind of like a film, a plastic film with like a copper film wire. It's not really an actual wire, but it is a wire. It's a path, and it's not broken. I wiggle it. Everything is good in there. All right, so these are my connections. I think that's all I really need to show. All right, so let's go back to the test. I'm going to put the image of the resistance for you to view. Like that, you can see that I am in the correct resistance as we are doing the test. So let me put this in here. I'm going to make it a little, not sure why it's covered, so give me 1 second to adjust that. All right, now we have that image in there so you guys can see perfectly that what I'm providing is exactly what the manufacturer recommends. I hope that you also understand how much information and tests I'm doing in here, because no other repair facility will show ever anything like this. So if you want to check your fuel gauge, now you know to do it in the shop, in the field, anywhere. It's pretty simple, because realistically you can create jumpers from the harness. I mean, if you have the harness, you already got the power in the ground. You all need to do is use a decade bike like this, connect it to ground, and then be the fuel level sensor. That's it, right? So in this case, you want to disconnect the fuel level sensor in the tank, because otherwise that will change the resistance. Remember, resistance device itself, if it's in series in series. All right, so let's go down to half a tank. So for half a tank, we want to go up to 33. So I'm going to go over to 1, 2, 3, and this is very slow. It's not on a speedometer or a tachometer that will change its position abruptly. So this is a very slow gauge to read, but we can definitely see how now it's going down to whatever. So we need to stop or to wait for that meter to stop as its position. And this is also how you check the calibration of a needle or instrument cluster in this case. You can use these values to make sure it's at least close, right? Because as long as you reach the full and you reach the empty, anything in the middle can be a little different. Let's say, 36 still will maybe measure half a tank. And this is not a perfect science, especially on these old instrument clusters, but I actually might be correcting myself in there, because the older the equipment or computers, they were built with a much higher standard of quality. And I have seen this across the board into any manufacturer. They used to build things to last. Now they build the cars to last for the period of the warranty, and then it start to break down, so you can just start spending your money into repairs or get rid of the car and buy a new car. No longer a proud, or the manufacturers are no longer proud. They already got their reputation, and okay, now it's time to make the money. Well, it's looking pretty sharp, right? So we have exactly half a tank. Wow. This is very accurate. So is this gauge reading properly, and it moves and is working fine? I don't think I need to do or to give you the answer, right? So far, it's right in the money. And we can see now it's completely stopping half a tank with 33 ohms of resistance, just like the manufacturer told us, and you have the chart right there. All right, so let's go now over to empty, which is the last test, and we need to go over to 110. So I'm going to put the 1, and I'm going to go down into here. Now I have 110 ohms. And we can definitely see how the needle is now moving, finding his way down to empty. So yes, Ed, I don't think there's anything wrong with this instrument cluster. And also I can show you, or I hope you also understand how much transparent I am, my business is with all my customers. If you send something to get repaired or to be fixed, I will test it, because I don't want to, to make you expect, or because if I, go ahead and like what any other repair facility will do is just call the customer. Yep, your cluster is ready. It's $350. Pay the bill. Oh, but we connected and it's doing the same. Yeah, the problem is in the car. Good luck. Have fun. That's it. I don't do that. I perform the test before and after to show you that everything is working. What is in the car? I don't know. Can a car be the problem here? I would say 100%, right? Because this is working properly. Yeah, we are now completely into the empty position. So yeah, nothing is wrong here. All right, so guys, again, just a short video showing you how to test an instrument cluster in a 2000 Toyota Tundra. I hope that you like the content. If you're here on the channel and you haven't subscribed, please help me with that. Every time you subscribe to the channel, YouTube promotes more and more my videos, and that's how you find me. It's also for free, and I help my small business a lot. So thank you so much. If you do so, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.